It's bolted to the ground, so you're going to need to lean into that microphone. Bring it down a little bit. It's too high for you. You want to be about 2 inches from the microphone if you would, so you need to lean into it a little bit. If you would introduce yourself to the jury and spell your first name and your last name.
Okay. Candace Ruffin, CANDACE RUFFIN.
Please proceed.
Yes. Ms. Ruffin, do you know Bessman Okafor?
Yes,
And how do you know him?
he's my brother.
And did you know him in September 2012?
Yes,
Okay. Do you know how big your brother was back then?
yes.
How big was he?
More than 200, I know,
And how do you know that?
because he was big.
But did y'all have some kind of weight challenge or something going on in the family?
Yes.
And explain that.
Well, the weight challenge was basically whoever can lose the most weight, or whoever weighed the most would lose the most weight.
And would they receive some kind of award or gift for that?
Yes, they would receive, I think, $50 or something like that, and they would weigh in every so often to see who weighed the most or the less.
Okay. And did you also know what kind of haircut your brother had back then?
Yeah, he had like a mini fro. He was trying to grow dreads.
Like a small afro?
Yes.
Can I show you this picture? State 60? Like this?
Yes.
Any cross?
Do you admit this is what your brother looked like when he got arrested?
Yes.
You admit that your car was involved in this murder?
No.
Sustained. Anything further? And to redirect? Ma'am, you may step down.
Thank you.
Please be careful. It's a steep step. Mr. Mosley. Any additional testimony at this time? All right. You said no? All right. Folks, what I'm going to ask you to do is to step in the back room for just a moment, please. We'll be with you in a few moments, okay?
All right, very good.
Please be seated. Mr. Mosley, you would be resting at this point then?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Okafor, I need to ask you one question, sir, or maybe a couple of questions. Your attorney is advising me that he is getting ready to rest your case at this point. He has called a couple of witnesses in this matter. Are there any other witnesses that you wish him to call that he has not called or is refusing to call? All right. You're comfortable then with the witnesses that he has called in this matter. Is that correct? Is there any other evidence that you wish him to attempt to offer into evidence that he has not offered into evidence? I'm sorry? Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Mosley, as I indicated at sidebar, I will give you an opportunity to add more to your opening, just as I would have with the state, to intermingle the theory of liability or theory of defense in this matter. I'll let you do that when you come back in. State, are you going to have any rebuttal testimony that you wish to put on? No? So that will conclude the testimony and evidence at that point then. Let me get the jury back in here quickly, let you finish up on your deferred opening, have you rest formally in front of them at that time, and then I'll ask the state for rebuttal and then send them out for a short break. Okay?
What he's saying is I object to this second opening. Mr. Mosley
Again, the court agrees that he should be talking about witnesses that he is going to call, or in this case has called just recently. But the court, as I mentioned at sidebar, would allow the state to intertwine their theory of liability, theory of responsibility into their opening statement. He would have been allowed to do that had he not reserved when he did it initially. So I think he has a right to at least incorporate that to some degree into his opening. I'm going to allow him to do that. That is not to be quoting witnesses that have already testified or challenging witnesses or even going over testimony. It's simply adding his theory of defense in this case. Bring our jury in, please.
All right, you're there.
Please be seated. Mr. Mosley, you can go ahead and complete your deferred opening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe the evidence shows in this case that the law enforcement personnel immediately jumped to conclusions that Bessman Okafor had something to do with this murder. It's my belief that when Detective Qureshi went and visited Brienna and Remington Campos in the hospital, and he inquired why this happened, he discovered that May 9th, 2012, home was invaded.
Your Honor, again, I object to this. This is not.
Objection's overruled.
For Brienna Campos identified Bessman Okafor. I don't think that law enforcement looked for anybody else. He zeroed in on him, and even though there was no direct evidence that put him in the house or put the gun or anything threatening to these two people, these three people, they set their sights on him. It's our belief that Brienna Campos does describe a third person, but we believe that third person is on the state's list in that position. She described a long, lanky person with a short haircut and a fine razor line. We believe that he fits that description. We believe that he admits that he was alone for 20 minutes in this case, that no one could account for where he was or what he was doing.
Yes, sir.
Renew my objection.
Objection's overruled.
And we believe that when you look at the evidence, that Essex Law is in the best position to commit this crime. We also believe that it was law enforcement's attempt to depend on this man so much that they never, ever even contemplated that this Campos, who had identified this Okafor just 3 months earlier, knew him and described him as being a big person, like a muscular person, and that this person who pulled her out of her room that night tall, lengthy, and no mask. It was because they rushed the judgment. They never even listened to her. She was telling them what she saw. She's the best witness. She's an eyewitness. She's not somebody that is trying to extrapolate facts from outside circumstances. She was there. She was telling them what she saw. And they did not listen. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe this case is over. And we get a chance to pose our case or argument to you. Facts, you're going to find that the person who fits the murder on the state's proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mosley, do you have any additional testimony or evidence you wish to present, sir?
No, sir.
Are you resting at this point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
State, do you have any rebuttal testimony you wish to present?
No, Your Honor.
All right. The state is resting then? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes all of the testimony and all of the evidence in this case. I know I sent you back a few moments ago. I needed to deal with the attorneys on an issue. I'm going to go ahead and send you back for your regular break right now. I know that was a quick one. I wasn't expecting all of you to use the restroom in 6 minutes. But we're going to go ahead and send you back. Please do not discuss the case. Please leave your pads on the chairs.
All right.
Please be seated. Mr. Mosley, Mr. Naku, the evidence has rested in the case completely. Do you have any motions you wish to make or any renewed motions?
Your Honor, we can make motions early on the court based on the case that's cited in court.
Any additional arguments?
No, sir.
Any additional response from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. The motions are denied in this matter. Any additional matters other than jury instructions that we need to talk about?
Just for the record, Judge, I know obviously it was clear to the parties, but these were the judgment of acquittal motions that the court just denied.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand that. Let's do this. Let's give everybody a break in this matter, and I'll ask, I know there's some revised jury instructions that have been sent. I think you have copies of those, the instructions from Mr. Williams sent last night?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so let's take a break. Everybody take a quick restroom break, and let's get together and finalize these jury instructions if we can. And Mr. Okafor, you certainly, as we talked about last night, have input into these jury instructions, and I'll ask you about that once we get through them. Okay? Thank you. We'll be in recess for about 15 minutes. Jim.